Welcome to our show. Today we're celebrating the incredible contributions of women to their communities through their dedication, bravery, and desire for change. Join us as we share stories of these remarkable women of impact. I'm Amanda Bay, a lifestyle blogger, local love ambassador, and Jack's mom. As a former photojournalist, I've been navigating the media world for almost 20 years. Through my blog, Bay Awesome, and a variety of other community initiatives, I've had the opportunity to fulfill a passion of mine to help promote female-led entrepreneurs, community causes, along with women taking on leadership roles. When we uplift and encourage other women, we create a ripple effect that transcends into individual accomplishments, which is why I believe it's essential to celebrate women's success year-round. The connectors, the dream builders, the blazers of our own trails, all of the sheroes in our lives. These are names you should have on your radar and are bound to inspire you. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge and honor that we are filming on the lands of the Anishinaabe people of Fort William First Nation, signatory to the Robinson-Superior Treaty of 1850. Professional MMA fighter Riley Marchand started training at the age of 8 and immediately fell in love with the sport. As she continued training, she noticed its positive impact on her physical and mental well-being. She is now on a mission to motivate her community.
I think if there's a day that, I don't really want to be here and it's hard to drag myself out the door and get in here, I just always remember that I feel so much better once I leave.
And here we got Riley Marchand. Record is 3-1. I love her nickname, Dave. Her nickname is Riley the Coyote.
I was born and raised in Vernon, BC, more specifically on the Okanagan Indian Band Reserve. I started MMA at the age of 8. The dream was to be an MMA fighter, and I was so young, and it was easy to want to pursue that. And as I got older and I took advantage of more opportunities, the dream just kind of became closer to reality.
Making her PFL debut, representing Unity Martial Arts in Vernon, BC, Riley Coyote Marchand!
One of my favorite things about MMA is it's this constant pursuit of perfection or, reaching the next goal, and then there's always going to be something else to reach. It's never-ending improvement, and that's really exciting for, I think, a lot of people, and myself especially.
Been training a long time, jiu-jitsu and kickboxing since she was 8 years old and is still with the same coaches now as she was then.
It's been a healthy coping mechanism for me when dealing with, personal issues. It's been a way to stay healthy. It's been my way to socialize, and it's become my career. So it's done a lot for me throughout my life. My community of Okanagan Indian Band has been always supportive of my career within MMA. I always had people coming up with encouraging words or monetary donations towards my journey. More recently, I've been given the opportunity to start a kids MMA program on the reserve, and that's a huge support for me on a larger level for sure. When I get to experience firsthand the effect that my training and fighting has on my community, it really hits close to home because these are the people that I live next to, the people that I've grown up with, and just being able to positively affect their outlook on something, I've been able to share that and have them be proud of me and have them be represented on a larger scale in different aspects of the world. I think diversity in sports just means that people were given the opportunity to fall in love with something, to pursue something further. And that's been kind of my mission statement with my MMA program with the kids, is just giving the kids the opportunity to see something that I love and that I'm passionate about, and hopefully they'll become passionate about it And if it's not with me, with MMA, I hope that they do find something that they can pursue, even on a small scale, you know, like just being passionate about something. They're given the opportunity, and that's really important.
All three judges have scored the fight 30-27. For your winner by unanimous decision, the fighter in the red corner, Riley Coyote Marchand.
When Michelle Staples decided to run for mayor of Duncan, she had no idea it would become one of the best experiences of her life. Together with a committed team, she successfully tackled one of the most significant issues facing many communities: homelessness.
It's just not, it's not logical. Like, it's completely illogical to just leave things the way that they are. If you don't care at all about people on the street, if you care nothing about them, if you're one of the people who just thinks that we should ship them away, jail them, whatever, it's over $95,000 to keep someone in jail for a year. So you're telling me that you'd rather do that than pay $36,000 a year for that person to, you know, be supported and actually have the opportunity to have services connected to them, to actually rebuild their life, which are the things that we're seeing happening? Tell me how that makes sense from a strictly accounting perspective. It just doesn't. It just. I absolutely never saw myself getting into politics in any way, shape, or form. When I decided to run for mayor, I put my papers in on the very last day because I was just undecided about whether or not that's where I wanted to spend, you know, the next 4 years of my time and my life. When I first got elected to council, I was having this discussion with someone about youth council. They wanted to bring a group of young people who were considered like from an alternative system, right? They weren't sure that this group of youth were, you know, people who would become youth council. They weren't that type of person. And it was one of those moments when I realized, well, I'm not that type of person. You know, it reminds me that it's important that all types of people do this work. And I'm one of those people. It makes me feel like the change at like a deeper level can happen, I think. Because when I grew up, there was not people like me in these places. They were far, you know, few and far between. We're at this like time when so much has to change, but we're trying to change things and systems that they're kind of stuck in the ways that they've done things. It makes it hard to move forward. And so after experiencing that, I just was really wanting to see if there was a way to do things differently. This last term as mayor, or my last term as mayor, was one of the most incredible experiences I've had. One of the things that our council really heard everywhere was around homelessness and opioid use and how it was impacting people in the community. And so we brought together a group of people to look at, you know, what would it look like in our community if we were to be able to house every single person and have them taken care of. And at that time there was about 130 maybe people who were unhoused. And ultimately where it led to was something we call the village site. Right now, 7 months in, 76% of the people on that site are in some kind of pre-employment or employment process. And that's incredible. And there's, you know, one woman, she's not on that site, she's in the Paddle Road site, but she said that she's working now and she has been clean for 8 months for the first time in 10 years. And she'd lived on the streets for 10 years, here, right here. But there's still people who are still on the streets because we didn't capture everyone. There wasn't enough funding and support to do that. You know, we're all a part of the same village, and that taking care of the people who have the least makes us all stronger. In every act of kindness that people do silently, it changes someone's life. And I'm going to be proud of this, proud of what we managed to achieve together, because it really demonstrates when you pull people together, you can actually solve the biggest problems. And this term, I hope to continue that and to actually strengthen it and to really not go back to how things were before.
KG Banjoko is a passionate community activist who works towards empowering students and community members through her organization, United for Change. She is determined to challenge institutional racism and cultural suppression by imparting historical and cultural knowledge to those who need it most.
How do we break down institutional racism and actually fix the problem? How do we focus ourselves not on monetary material values, but on humanity, but on dignity and restoring that to people? And I know that we can get there. I'm KG Banjoko. I'm a local community advocate here in Fort McMurray, located in Treaty 8 territory. And I believe in the power of the masses to bring about great social change. My organization, United for Change, has a mandate to educate, elevate, and empower. So we educate using decolonized resources, we elevate your consciousness and deepen your critical understanding of societal issues, and we empower each other by showing what can happen when we come together and organize, and the impact we can have on the community around us. The next generation is integral to everything moving forward. I remember when I was first exposed to global issues in high school, that was my first instance even being able to connect dots. And this generation now has so much more information and access. One of the things that I love the most is getting to go into schools and talk about anti-racism and decolonization and kind of put power back in the hands of students and have start conversations with staff about what it is that they aren't doing and the things that they need to start doing to support students. It's important to give confidence and to empower young Black students right now to do what it is they can to make change in their schools, because schools are like a microcosm of society. So we can see these little things, these cracks in a big way in schools. So it's important for me to teach them about their history, to show them the strong people that came before them, and to remind them that this is your fight now. You didn't create the problem, but you have a hand in fixing it. And you can do it strong, you can do it informed, and you can do it unrelenting, because that's what we need at the end of the day. And they've got it. Like when I hear them talk about the things that they want to do, their minds are limitless. And I really hope to embody that fully, because our imagination is kind of forced into a box at a certain point, and we never want to lose sight of the other side of the goal, which is equity, which is freedom, which is liberation for all. I think what my hope for in my lifetime, what I want to see, is I really want to see foundations of an equitable future laid down. I want less focus on representation and more focus on implementation. I want us to do what we know we're supposed to be doing. And so I have to do my part here in this corner to raise people's understanding, to connect those dots, and to walk together in a forward motion that's focused on bringing about equitable change for people all over the world.
Most people are excited to learn how to drive a car, but what about learning to fly a plane? Isabella Downton is helping to break gender stereotypes by taking on a career in a male-dominated field.
Most people get to learn to drive their car, and that's kind of a universal experience, but then take it one step further and go in the air and fly a plane, something that not many people get to do. My name's Isabella, and I'm 20, and I'm currently studying aviation flight management in hopes that I'll be a commercial pilot one day. I do have quite a few family members who are pilots. My dad flew for a major airline, and he also ran a float base. So I essentially grew up around planes, and that kind of piqued my childhood interest. And then it kind of grew along with me as I developed, and instead of it just being like a childhood interest, it faded away. It was something that I started to pursue in my teen years, my adult years, and be like, okay, this is something I'd like to do. I'm really passionate about it because I think that it helps me embrace my adventurous side, and also gets me out of my comfort zone every day. Every day you're doing different things. Most of the time it's challenging things. The other day I was flying in a crosswind that I had never flown in before, landing on a runway I had never landed on before, so it's something new and different every day, and you're really just trying new things all the time. One of the big milestones for every person that's learning to fly is the first solo. Nobody else is in there beside you. It's the first time that you're in that plane by yourself flying. And so I was kind of talking to myself, and you know, it's gonna be okay, you're gonna do good, and look at, you're doing it. It climbs a little bit faster because there's no instructor on board, but when you come down to land, you're like, wow, I just flew a plane by myself. You know, it's kind of hard to get over, like, I just flew a plane by myself. It's a very male-dominated industry. Usually when people say that they're going to go into aviation and they're a woman, people tend to think flight attending, which lots of women and lots of men are flight attendants. So for the beginning of the aviation history, like, it's been mostly men, but it's getting better. Like, Top Gun Maverick just came out, and so we went to watch it, and with the original Top Gun, like, in the group there wasn't really any girls, but on this one there was a female pilot. I was happy about that. I was happy that there was a girl in it, but I was like, there's a lot of guys still here. Like, could we sacrifice maybe one of the other 8 men? But yeah, I think that the representation has gotten a lot better over the years, and we're slowly getting there where girls are getting the idea, like, I don't have to just, you know, stay on female-dominated careers. I can go and do something that I really want to do.
After a life-altering cancer diagnosis, Karen Manuel looked to cosmetic and paramedical tattoo artist Katie Mohammed to help her recreate what once was lost. In the case of Karen, the process meant more to her than she thought possible.
Recreating exactly an areola with all of the details, including giving the illusion of dimension in the art. That's where my skill gets really challenged, and I feel exhilarated because I can do it. It took me a lot of practice, hours and hours and hours of practice, but having the ability to do that is really cool.
I went for a mammogram on a Friday. By the following Friday, I was in my first surgeries of 4. The first 2 were basically biopsies, trying to get clean borders around the edges of the calcification. Wasn't possible on the first or second try. My only alternative now was to have a complete bilateral mastectomy, which I did, and I haven't looked back.
Karen came to me after 12 years of her reconstruction. I think that she just hadn't really thought about getting areola tattooed, or maybe even knew that she could. So she was just living with an incomplete reconstruction, if you will.
With my shirt on, I look the exact same way. But it's when the shirt comes off that things change. I never would have gone to the gym and say showered there or anything like that, because I wouldn't want questions, somebody pointing, little kids, little girls, Mommy, what's wrong with her? Why does she not look like you?
My job is to create detail and color that matches skin tone, that matches the shape of the breast, the size of the breast, and add in small little extra details like milk duct or Montgomery glands. That's what we got together and we did a consultation, talked about what she was looking for, and then when we went to work, we had a great time. She was so thrilled with the results, she couldn't stop looking at herself in the mirror. She doesn't feel that she's completed herself in a sexual way. She feels herself completed as a woman and as a survivor of a deadly disease.
I'm gonna laugh because I've cried enough. All there is time left for now is laughter.
Yeah.
Right?
Good job.
Katie has brought that full circle for me. I feel so complete. There's a shame when you don't have what other people have. You don't want them to see you. It's almost like a weakness. I have many scars, but we all have many scars. And Katie was able to work with all of that. And she just brought me back to being a complete person again.
I thrive off of being able to do whatever I can using my own skills and my own life journey to give back.
If it's from my message or from Katie's, take care of yourself and do what's good for you, what's best for you. Because she's totally changed my life and given me confidence that I had lost. I feel amazing. I haven't felt this good in years. My confidence has definitely come back, and I'm just ready to take on the world thanks to her.
Seeing the beauty in every body is what Melissa Hagginson does best. She's shaking up what boudoir photography can do, building radical confidence in women of all ages through her sexy snaps. Hagginson is all about body positivity and loves showing the beautiful side of our individual differences.
Gorgeous. As soon as it's like warm enough to be naked outside, we usually are out there looking for spots. Beautiful. Hi, I'm Melissa Hagginson, and I am a boudoir photographer here in the Kootenays, specializing in body positivity. So I first got introduced to photography when I was hired to work at the portrait studio. I didn't actually learn how to use a camera there. I just learned how to pose people and work with kids and families. A couple years later, I had my daughter, and my daughter was born with a port wine stain birthmark on the left side of her face. It's quite a red and purple type birthmark. It's not something that she would grow out of. It's something that she'll have for the rest of her life. And I just was really trying to learn about it and trying to figure out how am I gonna guide her through this world now with this birthmark, and how I'm gonna help her to love herself when she's going to look different than other kids. So I started taking pictures of my daughter, and I would do different themes and kind of have fun in my basement doing that. And then like friends that I had in mommy groups and stuff like that would ask me to take pictures of their kids. So I've been doing it on my own for about 2 years now. After the first year, I decided that I wanted to try doing a boudoir shoot. I just like posted on my Facebook page, on like my little photography page, and I said, hey, does anybody want to try a boudoir shoot with me? Just doing it out of my bedroom. This was obviously before COVID. And there was like a ton of response. Boudoir is photography for everyday women. Usually it's sexy, but I feel like boudoir is changing now. It doesn't just have to be in a bedroom. It can be anywhere, and it's just an empowering form of photography.
It just looks so pretty here, because I can see the water. And really pop that booty upwards.
I think it's just like a freeing feeling too. And then the shoot is all about you, and maybe you're not used to having that much attention just on you. Usually I get ladies that come back to me, they'll usually message me that day and just say, hey, I feel so great, thank you so much for doing all of that. And it's funny because I don't have like sprinkle magic dust, I literally just take their picture. I really want them to feel empowered and confident in themselves, and I want them to just feel like the baddest around. Some people aren't comfortable with their photos being shared, but a lot of people really enjoy when a photographer is sharing an image. It makes you feel really good inside. When I had my daughter's newborn photos taken, they were not posted online, and I was kind of hurt by that fact. So that was kind of when I was like, I'm gonna start taking pictures myself, because I don't want her to ever feel like she's not good enough to be shown off. That's like a big thing for me, is trying to be very inclusive with taking photos of everybody. I just want to be able to like show everyone, even if you're different, like show the beauty in your difference.
Thank you for joining us today to celebrate the incredible impact that women have had in their communities. To get involved with Shaw Spotlight or to discover more inspirational stories from across Canada, visit shawspotlight.ca.
I think if there's a day that, I don't really want to be here and it's hard to drag myself out the door and get in here, I just always remember that I feel so much better once I leave.
It's not logical. Like, it's completely illogical to just leave things the way that they are. And I'm going to be proud of this, proud of what we managed to achieve together.
So it's important for me to teach them about their history, to show them the strong people that came before them, and to remind them that this is your fight now.
Most people get to learn to drive their car, and that's kind of a universal experience, but then take it one step further and go in the air and fly a plane.
Katie has brought that full circle for me, and she just brought me back to being a complete person again.
It can be anywhere, and it's just an empowering form of photography.